Agency Insurance has been serving Panama City and Bay County for years. They offer a full line of affordable insurance coverage of all types. Many people are attracted to Ellis Agency Insurance because of their friendly, knowledgeable staff. Call independent agent Johnny Ellis for a true comparison of your personal or business insurance. Ellis Agency Insurance at the Old Cullen Insurance location, 1134 Harrison Avenue, across from Dandy Donuts and Deli. Call 763-1627.
The road is yours, so let your spring adventures begin and discover the new Kia at Bill Bird Kia. Stop by today and check out our 2024 SUV family and take a test drive. See all the new features that elevate any adventure. Now offering 4.75% APR for up to 48 months on the purchase of a new 2024 Kia Sorento EX. You'll get that rugged good look with luxury and the perfect balance of comfort, safety, and technology. Bill Bird Kia, the home of the 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Stop by anytime and see us at 2435 East 15th Street or anytime at BillBirdKiaPanamaCity.com. We'll give you the peace of mind that you can trust.
Offer from Kia Finance America for the purchase of a new 2024 Kia Sorento EX with $22.94 per month per 1,000 financed in 48 months. Quality is limited. No down payment required. Cannot be combined with other finance offers. The 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty is a Bill Bird Kia warranty. See dealer for complete details. Offer for well-qualified buyers. Plus take delivery from dealer stock through 4/30/24.
Attention homeowners, are you dreaming of a backyard oasis? Look no further than S&R Fencing, your go-to destination for quality outdoor transformations. At S&R, they specialize in crafting custom fences, deck, retainer walls, and all exterior construction that not only enhances the beauty of your home, but also stands the test of time. Their experienced team takes pride in delivering top-notch craftsmanship with a personal touch. S&R Fencing, locally owned, licensed, and insured, and a member of the BBB.
WPLQ Port St. Joe, WGSX Lynn, powered by Panama City Toyota.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Get ready.
Let's play the game.
Sports Talk Radio will never be the same.
I just don't think that anybody's going to succeed in that system.
It's a bad organization.
It's just a bad organization.
The Afternoon Underdogs.
Onion pickles, onions pickles.
Live and local.
Look, it's impressive.
On ESPN.
Northwest Florida.
Keep making noise! Keep making noise!
Oh, what's going on? I was going to say, let's go Northwest Florida, like we're in some kind of a competition here, but welcome back. Yeah, you can tell we had a little bit of a 2-day break, and I'm not talking about the weekend, off Thursday and Friday for coverage of March Madness, and it was awesome, man. Normally I go somewhere and try to watch all the games, but I had to catch up on some of the clockwork around here with March Madness and with the Braves getting ready, which opening day going to be right here on ESPN Northwest Florida. So we won't have a show again this Thursday because Braves and the Phillies, I think first pitch is 2:05. So we'll have that right here on ESPN Northwest Florida. But while I was working on clocks, had the radio on in the background, so was able to keep up with a lot of the going-ons in the tournament. A lot of great games, a lot of great finishes. Felt like each evening, the final game of the evening outside of last night, but if we just get past the San Diego State and Yale game, which let's go Bulldogs, Yale Bulldogs, for nothing else outside of taking down Auburn, even though we are your home for the Auburn Tigers here at ESPN Northwest Florida. But take away the San Diego State game and the Yale game last night, that Texas A&M Houston game was absolutely awesome. You had the football game that was played on a basketball court last night between Grand Canyon and Alabama. That was a great game as well. Alabama on to the Sweet 16. One of two SEC teams. The ACC is just sweeping it up right now with 4 teams, a quarter of the teams into the Sweet 16. North Carolina and Alabama, blue blood versus blue blood in football. How do you think Alabama, before we dive into our local sports, how do you think that Alabama matches up against a team like North Carolina?
Well, it's difficult because you certainly don't want to be a team like Alabama who plays very little defense.
Yes.
Against, a team as solid and as veteran as North Carolina. I think that's the thing a lot of people forget is, in this day and age of one and dones, North Carolina's got some vets on that team who've been around from when they made their run a couple of years ago and have also been there for, the downside of not making the tournament. So, I don't know. I don't love the matchup because I think a veteran team will know how to exploit Alabama on the counter.
Yeah.
I don't think Alabama's going to be able to crash the boards on North Carolina the way they did with Grand Canyon. Look, they shot the ball horribly last night, but they were extremely active getting their hands on offensive rebounds, kicking the ball out. And I think that was helping them because normally where they get beat in transition off of a miss, they were able to keep possession and find a better shot. So their percentage wasn't very good, but every time down the floor, they were shooting 3 or 4 times. So, look, anything can happen. I would not imagine an Alabama team is going to shoot as poorly as they did last night. That being said, they're playing a much more savvy opponent. So I don't think the matchup is very good for Alabama, but that's why the tournament's interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. Who would you say is the best team in the Sweet 16 right now? If you were to reseed them, who would be your number one?
Well, I don't know if they're my number one. UConn's playing pretty darn good.
Yeah, they are.
I had this feeling coming in about Purdue, and I don't normally like teams that rely on bigs in the tournament, certainly in this day and age. There's just something about them. I mean, they've almost got a little bit of that nobody respects us, and you're seeing their coach leaning into it. You're seeing it on the women's side. Kim Mulkey's trying to invent it.
Yeah.
Which I think is purely a tactic. I think we can get into that at some point, the whole Washington Post thing. I think that's all her trying to find a way to connect with her team.
Yeah.
But with Purdue, I think it's an honest reaction to the fact that Zach Edey isn't getting the respect I think that their coach feels that he deserves. And I think he's utilizing that to kind of say, look, you guys are just trying to say that we're old and we're slow. We play a different style of basketball. Zach Edey's only good because he's tall, this, or the other. We're a good basketball team.
Yeah.
And if they can turn that into giving them an edge, watch out for Purdue. Houston obviously didn't play great last night.
A lot of fouls.
But sometimes getting that kind of a win early.
And getting it out of the way.
Yeah, can kind of recenter your team.
Yeah.
Whereas if things are going really, look, you always want things to go well, but sometimes you kind of lose that edge if things are going well. We saw it in the NFL playoffs. Baltimore Ravens, as soon as things started not going well, that team imploded.
Yeah.
So, we'll see. But there's something about Purdue this year that I just kind of like.
Is there? We're going to talk more about Ohtani than anything in this opening segment, depending on how things go. You know how we're going on, how we go on tangents on this show, and we've started off the show without doing any introductions or anything, but talking about sports, and we will continue to talk about just sports real quick here because I want to get into our bracket buster update, but we'll save that for a second. Is there a game in the Sweet 16 that intrigued you over every other game? And James, I'll ask you the same question.
I don't have them all right in front of me.
All right, so I do UConn, San Diego State, Illinois, Iowa State. You got North Carolina, Alabama. Let's leave that one off to the edge.
I was going to say that one intrigues me, right? For a lot of reasons.
Clemson, Arizona, Creighton, Tennessee, Purdue, Gonzaga, North Carolina State, Marquette, and then Houston and Duke.
Creighton, Tennessee is a really interesting game because Tennessee is a loaded team. Creighton is a team that doesn't have that pedigree. They remind me of where Gonzaga was a decade ago.
Mm-hmm.
And, they're proving that they're not a flash-in-the-pan team because they're there consistently. But this is their chance to take that next step that it took Gonzaga a few tournaments to do. So that game intrigues me a lot.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm almost right there with you, but I'm going to... we got Purdue, Gonzaga from Wright State, Chris.
Mm-hmm.
Illinois, Iowa State is up there for me, but the one that I've got that intrigues me the most outside of the fandom of North Carolina and Alabama, and just like Nate Oates, the way that he was coaching that game last night, his halftime report. Actually, I don't even know if they were in halftime before he was already complaining. Right after he got that technical that he was complaining about the officiating, but UConn and San Diego State because I have and have From the beginning of this tournament, San Diego State pegged to upset UConn in this game. So it did, after watching the first game, San Diego State just kind of skating by UAB 69-65. I was like, ooh, I don't feel very confident about that. But then they kind of picked it up against Yale last night and had that 30-point win. So, hey, we'll see how it plays out. I think that the experience for San Diego State could be something. James, is there a game in the Sweet 16 that intrigues you more than any of the others?
I think Houston and Duke could be a very exciting game to watch because Houston still being number one, but having that kind of heart attack game over the weekend, going into overtime to still get to 100 points. And Duke just being the blue-blooded school that it is, always makes deep runs. Can it get cut short this year? I don't know, but I think it should be a fairly exciting game to watch.
Yeah, Kyle Alberton says Creighton and Tennessee, he would like to see Mike Miller's son win it all. Johnny Yankee Seed said that he has all three Big East teams in the Elite Eight, that being Marquette, Creighton, and UConn. I'm sure he's got UConn to win it all, and we'll find out a little bit more about that in the ESPN Northwest Florida Big Bracket Challenge Bracket Buster update. That is a mouthful. Oh, looks like we're just going to go ahead and do that right now then. So leading, we've got a three-way tie at the top now. These teams are separated when it comes to the max available points. Coming in at number one with 480 points and a max available of 1760 in the 95.6 percentile. ESPN Fans 686 and a bunch of numbers after that. Then you've got Club Trill at 480 with 1640 max points, with their UConn being, or with their champion being UConn, and then West Virginia is their bracket name, their champion UConn at 480. Then you've got Monty Gators, who's got Houston. They've got 470 points with a maximum available of 1710. Tuesday Tyler, which you can hear tomorrow. I'm sure he'll be bragging on his bracket tomorrow afternoon. He's got 470 points with his champion being UConn. Monty Gators' champion is Houston. You got Coach Olds. His champion exited in the first round to the Yale Bulldogs. That is the Auburn Tigers. He's got 470 points, but only 870 points maximum available. Then you got Ken McVeigh, who is the voice of the Gulf Coast Commodores. He's got UConn as his champion. His maximum points available, 1470. He's got 470 points. Then you got my buddy Dalton Cope, best GM 91. He's got 470 points, maximum available of 1630, and he's got Purdue as his champion. Amanda McDaw, she's got Houston. She's got 470 points, 1710 available. Tied for fourth, and we'll move into 11th place. Dino's Delight at 460 with 1620 available. Also the champion of Houston. Florida guy has Purdue with 460 points and 1620 available. I'm sitting there down tied for 14. Well, I thought that I was. I don't know. Yeah, there I am, 450 points, so 3 off of the leader, 450 points, 1610, and I spent about 2 hours putting that bracket together.
There you go.
Yeah, so had a decent first round, but yeah, not a whole lot of surprises in the second round. I was one leg away from an 8-leg parlay. And it was
one leg away.
It was the Oregon Creighton double overtime game.
I wouldn't imagine a whole lot of the top brackets in the country are in the Southeast after the carnage of the first round of the SEC.
What do you make of that? The SEC just struggling in the tournament.
It's basketball.
Yeah,
that's the way it goes sometimes. I mean, there was no super standout team. I mean, the best teams in the SEC, Auburn struggled away from home until the tournament. They played pretty good in the conference tournament. Kentucky's been a Jekyll Hyde team all year. That was a team I thought could make a run to win the NCAA tournament, and I wasn't shocked they lost in the first round. That was just that kind of team. Tennessee's the most consistent team all year, and so I guess it makes sense they're in the Sweet 16. And Alabama, had a couple of gutsy performances, and they're through. But, I think there were some good SEC teams, but they just ran up against the wrong competition. They had some rough draws. Florida going in with an injury at center didn't help. You get a Colorado team that's already played, so they're kind of, there was a lot going on there. The Mississippi State loss to Michigan State surprised me a little because I thought Mississippi State matched up pretty well with them, but it just wasn't a good first round for the SEC, that's for sure.
Right State Chris says the SEC is great in football and outstanding in baseball, but you can't have it all.
Yes, we can.
David Neat says, go Ducks. Getting ready for some fantasy baseball with David Neat as well. Appreciate all of you guys chiming in. If you want to head on over to Facebook and leave your comments there about anything that it is that we're talking about or what you'd like us to talk about, we will chime in and read those off as well. For our local update of today, the number 5 seed Lady Commodores on their way to Casper, Wyoming for the 2024 NJCAA D1 Women's Basketball National Championship. You can join Gulf Coast Athletics at Beef O'Brady's in Lynn Haven. They're going to be cheering on the ladies during their first game, which is going to be March 28th at 3:15 versus the winner of the 12 seed Southern Idaho or the 21 seed Connors State game. If you can't make it to Beef O'Brady's, you can watch the games on ESPN Plus. So if you don't have ESPN Plus, there's a good reason to go grab it. But congratulations to the Gulf Coast Lady Commodores and the season that they've had, being the number 5 seed in the tournament. That is some great stuff. JUCO baseball, Pensacola getting a pair of 1-run wins. The game from Friday was postponed to Sunday. The game on Saturday, 19. Pensacola State, Gulf Coast State College had 18 runs. I mean, talk about a baseball game that you would want to be at. 19-18, and the second game of the doubleheader of the series was Pensacola getting the win 9-8. That game again postponed from Friday. JUCO softball, same score both games. Northwest Florida taking down Gulf Coast State College 13-3 in games 1 and 2. North Bay Haven in high school softball takes down Port St. Joe by 15 runs. The score was 16-1. Arnold beat St. Brendan 4-2. Liberty beat St. Brendan 11-10, and then Vanguard beat Liberty 10-7. In our games tonight in baseball, Bay they are actually hosting right now Pensacola. Bay 6-5 on the season. That game started at 3:30, so we'll get you an update on that shortly. You've got Rutherford traveling to Malone tonight at 6 p.m. Rutherford is 2-6 on the year. Malone 3-6. Arnold undefeated, 9-0, hosting Jay tonight. That game starts, first pitch, 6:30. Franklin County's 4-5. Weewa is 4-7. They'll get that first pitch underway at 7 p.m. And then Niceville, who is 6-4, hosting 10-2 Merritt Island. That game starts tonight at 7 p.m. And in softball, not a lot of our 5 local schools, but we've got some of the other schools playing tonight. Liberty County 8-3, hosting Mariana, who's 8-3. That game at 7 p.m. I was going to say quick local, and I was like, that doesn't make no sense. So then I had to have a couple of conversations in my head briefly, so sorry about the brief pause, y'all. Choctaw, they're going to be taking on Walton. Choctaw getting the host there. They are 5-6. Walton is 6-6. That game starts tonight at 6:30. Bluntstown is 6-2, hosting 1-10 Childs, and they start tonight at 6 p.m. You've got Niceville, who is 5-5. They're going to be hosting Watkins Memorial, who is 1-0, and that game starts at 6 p.m. And then Cottondale traveling to Graceville. Cottondale is 4-4. Graceville is 0-1, and that game tonight at 6 p.m. We are streaming live on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Twitter. You can like and share our Facebook feed and page. Follow us over there on Twitter. Then you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. Download the app and register, all at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Now, I think we're still all waiting. I mean, there's been a ton of stuff happening in the sports world, right? Mm-hmm. But there has been one headline that has dominated over every other headline, at least for us as baseball fans, but I think for people who are not even baseball fans, I think there's only one person in the world who I've ran into that didn't know about this until they were told about this, and that's Jay Henley from the Inside Drive. But he does the show to learn about what's going on in the sports world. Make sure you're listening to the Inside Drive from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. right here on ESPN Northwest Florida, and wake up even earlier. Catch the Coach James Hale Show from 7 to to 9 a.m. Monday through Friday, right here, 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. I'm David Hayes, along with Coach Brian Haddad and James Fife. We are the Afternoon Underdogs. We've got a great show lined up for you guys today. We're going to go around the track with RJ Starcevic, talking some NASCAR, find out what happened at COTA, the Circuit of the Americas, in NASCAR yesterday. He'll be with us at 4:20 in the next segment. Then at 4:40, Jack Patterson's with us. He's going to be talking about wrestling against Cancer 9. Then 5 o'clock. Normally, we have Todd Mueller in with us for PCB Hobby, doing the PCB Hobby takeover at 5:20. But we're going to move that to 5 o'clock today. And we're going to have Brian Crichton, the president of Talladega Super Speedway, on the line with us today at 5:20. And then we'll wrap up the show at 5:40, talking about whatever it is that we want to. And more than likely, that is going to be Shohei Ohtani, because we're only going to have a few minutes here. So, Coach Brian, your initial thoughts on all that's going on. I know we talked a little bit about it in the break, but let's break it down for the listeners.
Well, look, I mean, there's a lot we don't know. Shohei is set to have a press conference in about 25 minutes.
We should just play that thing live.
It'd be fine. No, he's not going to take any questions, they say, which
Okay.
I guess I understand. It's hard to say because you're relying on what you read, and in this day and age, you don't know. Look, I might be one of the few people who doesn't think that this is some kind of cover for Ohtani gambling. I don't. Here's what I think happened. I think the initial story that came out is probably correct, but then they realized there might be some illegality to that. And what it is I think they realized this guy had some pretty bad debts, and they wired the money to the bookmakers to cover it. But then they realized there's a paper trail on that, and it's coming from Shohei's bank account, and it's illegal in California, and they need a fall guy, is what I think happened.
Yeah.
I think that's exactly what happened. I doubt it's theft, but that gets them out of the legal trouble. So it's probably one of those cases where the interpreter's going to be the fall guy. He'll get some level of slap on the wrist from the judicial system somewhere behind closed doors. I'm sure he'll be made whole by Shohei, and unfortunately won't be able to work for him anymore. Unfortunately for him, it doesn't matter to me. Now, that's my guess based on everything that I've read. I think that's probably what happened. But I think after that initial statement, which is a nice thing to do for a guy who's gotten into trouble.
Right.
But then it's like, yeah, but you've now assumed all the legal responsibility, and that's why I think there was a hard pivot to theft. That's what I believe.
That's a good point, because for me, that's when we first heard about it, it's like, okay, there's not enough of anything to put together a valid thought of what's going on. Then the next day, it's like, well, they've already changed the story.
Yeah.
That where there's smoke, there's fire type deal. And then I start seeing everyone on social media just be like, oh, Ohtani, he's guilty, he did this, he did that. And I'm like, well, there's still not enough facts to, really build a solid argument on any of this. And when a lot of the times when people are pointing the fingers like, yep, regardless of any evidence that's out there or anything, he's guilty, then it's like, all right, well, I'm definitely not following those people, So that's kind of where I'm at. James, anything before we go to break about Ohtani?
Pete Rose to the Hall of Fame.
Hey, you know what?
Love it.
But see, I do fear that, not that I fear this, because it would be great for Pete Rose, but I wonder, there's no way Manfred is going to do anything about Ohtani, right?
Well, it depends what comes out.
It depends on how hard the state of California comes down on this, too.
Because, this is FBI and Major League Baseball investigating now. But one of the things is, could that be the distraction of all right, hey, here's how we cover this up. Pete Rose, you are going in the Hall of Fame right now.
All right, let me throw out my conspiracy theory
here we go.
The state of California, a lot of people are going, they're going to make an example out of Shohei. The hell they are. The state of California, Shohei Ohtani's making how much money?
A lot of it. I mean, not
State
all
of California,
of it right now,
I believe
million.
in his bracket's going to get 7 to 10% of that money in state income taxes. If I'm them, I don't want him banned from baseball.
Yeah, there you go.
State of California needs that money.
This has got a lot
There's
of...
my conspiracy.
There's a lot of lines affected with Shohei Ohtani, but we don't got enough time to talk about it right yet. You guys continue to put your thoughts in the Facebook comments. You can also text 850-215-6290. You're riding along with the Afternoon Underdogs, tuned in to ESPN Northwest Florida. All round the track with RJ coming up next.
Set your alarm clock to wake up with the Coach Hales Show on ESPN Northwest Florida. In-depth local and college sports from expert insiders and a dash of controversy.
Can be deadly.
Weekday mornings 7 to 9.
Nothing says good morning like a drunken human alarm clock.
We're live from the J. Michaels studio.
We all know he loves the Florida Gators, but that's okay.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
I can control the world.
Good afternoon. This is Joanna with your weather forecast from ESPN Northwest Florida on this Monday. Partly cloudy the remainder of the day with a wind around 21 miles per hour coming out of the southeast and 72. Tonight, look for some clouds with a temperature near 67. Tomorrow, a high around 73 and mostly cloudy in the morning, followed by a chance of thunderstorms. This weather forecast is brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for keeping that dial at ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Do you use the expensive blue or yellow pills to charge your sex life? Are you thinking about it? What if we can promise you the same results for less than $3 a pill? If you're paying $20 a pill for the other pills, you're getting taken to the cleaners. Our pills deliver the exact same results for less than $3. You'll save more than $16 a pill for the same results. And right now, radio callers will get 44 blue or yellow pills for $120 with free discreet shipping. You can save more than $700 off pharmacy prices. Charge your sex life now and save a ton of money. Call now and get your 44 pills and save over $700 and qualify for free shipping. Stop overpaying and call right now.
Paid for by Steel Man Pills. 800-261-7365. 800-261-7365. 800-261-7365. That's 800-261-7365.
He likes to lift weights in a parking lot and eat Weight Gainer 3000.
I'm really starting to feel out nasty.
David Hayes is part of the Afternoon Underdogs on ESPN Northwest Florida.
You're back in the doghouse with David Hayes, Coach Brian Haddad, James Fife, listening to the Afternoon Underdogs on ESPN Northwest Florida. And we are presenting the race to Talladega that started today. Join Coach Hale mornings at 7:15 and 8:15 to enter the race. They're going to give out a code word at 7:15 and 8:15. What I want you guys to do now, it says to text 850-215-6290. What I want you to do, though, is text your racing name. Text like a nickname, because if you just text in the code word, then we have nothing to call out at 12:15 and, well, looks like we're supposed to be doing this at 4:15, but we're going to move it to 5:15. Yeah, that's what it is. 5:15 is when we're doing that. So at 12:15 and 5:15, we're going to call out your name. So when you listen to the Coach Hale Show and they give out the code words at 7:15 and 8:15 in the morning, text the code word and your racing name to 850-215-6290. If we announce your name, race to the phones, and how long it takes you to call 850-215-6290 will be your qualifying time. The fastest qualifying times win a pair of tickets to Talladega for the Geico 500. We are going to be on the line now with RJ Starcevic. He is the host and creator of the NASCAR Report there on Instagram. Hey, RJ, what's going on, my friend?
Nothing too much. How about yourself?
Oh, man, just enjoying another beautiful day here in Northwest Florida. Give us a recap of the race at the Circuit of the Americas.
Yeah, Circuit of the Americas, Austin, Texas. It was the first road course race of the year. William Byron was able to snag the pole, and ended up snagging the race win. He was the car to beat all day long. We saw stages or stage cautions return for the first time. So, we saw some stage strategy where kind of the race leader was going to pit. So at the end of that cycle, he would cycle out to the lead and not opt for the stage points, but try to pursue the win instead. So, he was under pressure there by Christopher Bell, who was on that other strategy during the race and was pursuing him in those last few laps. I think if he had maybe one or two more laps, Bell might have gotten there, but it was William Byron getting the win at the road course, his second win of the year, the first repeat winner of 2024 as he won the Daytona 500 and now wins the first road course series race of the year.
Yeah, multiple wins already for Byron this year, who finished in the top 4 last year. Do you think that team has what it takes to win it all this year?
100%. I mean, we looked at them last year as, one of the, if not the championship favorites with the amount of wins, with the amount of points that they had. And I think going through the playoffs last year, they've learned what they need to improve. I mean, sometimes it just does come down to that one race and that Game 7 moment where you can only do so much. But I think they have everything, in their arsenal to make another run this year and get to that Final Four.
We've had 5 top 10 finishes for Ty Gibbs this year, which is the longest active streak. What have you made of his season to this point?
Just picking up for where he started off last year, and I think that was just progression, right? He came in last year and wasn't going to get off to a super hot start because it takes time to get acclimated to this next-gen race car, but if there was anybody in the sport that has shown us over the last few years they can just hop in and get right to it, it's been Ty Gibbs. His first Xfinity, win came in his first start at the Daytona road course, back a few years ago. And now here in his second year in the Cup Series, Joe Gibbs Racing being as hot, as they have been, I think Ty Gibbs just continues to show his, consistency, but, a guy that is good on the short tracks. He's been great at the 1.5 miles and shown that he can be really, really good on the road courses as well. He's got a few wins there in the Xfinity Series, and a third-place finish at COTA definitely just means we're going to see a very strong season from Ty Gibbs.
Yeah, very consistent to this point, no doubt about that. Who had the most impressive day that did not have high expectations going into the race?
I would say somebody like Alex Bowman. He gets a 4th-place finish, and he has had good success at Circuit of the Americas, but he hasn't had a good year yet. I remember we had talked about him a few times on the show where, we kind of expected him to do a little bit better at certain tracks, maybe like Las Vegas a few weeks back, and he just didn't really show any speed. So he's been really that guy what we've been looking for to kind of get a spark and get something going. And so Alex Bowman getting a 4th-place finish, I think, is really good for him and that team to get some momentum going into next week to Richmond, a track that he's won before.
Yeah, he wasn't as excited about the 4th-place finish, but still think that's a great finish. Did a certain manufacturer stand out to you yesterday at the Circuit of the Americas?
I would say Chevrolet, just because we've seen so much Toyota dominance to begin this season, and so we've needed, Chevy or those blue ovals to kind of step up and, introduce themselves as a factor as well. And so Chevrolet to get the win with William Byron. Alex Bowman gets a 4th-place finish. Ross Chastain was up there contending for the win. A.J. Allmendinger in the Colleague 13 car kind of sneaks into a 6th-place finish there. They did 5 cars inside the top 10. So anytime you set yourself as a manufacturer, when there's 3 manufacturers and you can take up half of the top 10, you've certainly had a good day.
RJ, this is Brian. I don't talk to you that often on Mondays, but I definitely wanted to bring this up with you this time. I'm a fan from years ago, been a little bit lapsed lately, but one of my favorites was always Kyle Busch. I always thought he got under the right people's skin, and he was always a favorite of mine. Talk to me a little about his little post-race conversation with Christopher Bell, and do you think it's a good idea that he might be telegraphing a little payback coming down the line?
Yeah, it's interesting because, they obviously were teammates just a few years ago. Yeah. Christopher Bell grew up racing through Kyle Busch's program, Kyle Busch Motorsports. And so the two obviously have a lot of history, but a lot of friendly history when we say history. But, at the end of the day, he's spent over a year outside of Joe Gibbs Racing, and everybody's a competitor. And so they were going into turn 1. Bell was looking low. Kyle Busch, I don't think knew that he was down there, but Bell also cooked it in. a little hard as well. And so the both just kind of came together, which I didn't really, when I saw it, I didn't initially place too much blame on either one of them. It's just one of those corners where, that corner has the most contact out of all corners on the Circuit of the Americas. And so around Kyle Busch went, and for a race that really didn't have any cautions, I believe, outside the stages, it was hard to make up that track position back up. So you got a frustrated Kyle Busch who's had a frustrating season, right? He hasn't had the finishes that he's wanted, and the only time he came close to a win was when it was just, a paper clip away from him winning at Atlanta. So it's certainly been a frustrating season for him, and I think that just adds into the frustration. Could we see Kyle Busch retaliate on somebody? I'm sure we definitely could. I think it'll just be something where he won't, race him as nicely maybe as he would have in the past. But it was definitely interesting seeing Kyle Busch go over there and express, the frustration in the way that he did. It's something that we probably haven't seen a few years. I feel like we've seen a more calmer Kyle Busch, and so maybe that fury Kyle Busch is what needs to come out to get some better runs this year.
Well, and what struck me is it reminded me of the way a lot of the veterans used to go up to Kyle Busch when he was the young kid, and it was total 180 for me seeing Kyle as the experienced veteran going over and giving a piece of his mind to a kid saying this isn't a video game,
Yeah, no, that's true, Brian. It could be the turn of the tides now. I guess is he is signaled the veteran in the sport, one of the veterans with all these young guys in there, and I'm sure he's had a lot of time around Christopher Bell. So maybe it was just an animated coaching moment. You never know, but we'll see as the season unfolds.
Yeah.
You're listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. We are on the line with RJ Starcevic. He is the creator of the NASCAR Report. You can find that on Instagram. Brian, take a guess at how old RJ is.
I have no clue.
19 years
You're
old.
kidding
Been
me.
running this page since 2017. Does a great job as well.
I was watching Kyle Busch before he was alive. He do a great job.
He does a phenomenal job. On the flip side of who impressed with high expectations, who had a disappointing run yesterday?
I would say, some of the road ringers that we were looking at. I mean, we can go over some guys that just haven't had great finishes this year, like Stenhouse, Harrison Burton, Daniel Hemrick. But, for Kamui Kobayashi, as well as Shane Van Gisbergen, they just unfortunately got caught up in some incidents. I know Shane Van Gisbergen sped on pit road. Kobayashi got turned a few times by Ricky Stenhouse Jr. But either way, just, two guys that, a lot of the people tuning in, maybe outside of NASCAR, were like, oh, these guys are coming in, they're going to make something happen. SVG being a guy that obviously won, his first career race over there at Chicago Street Course, so obviously the expectations are going to be very, very high. But a P20 for Van Gisbergen, Kamui Kobayashi over there in 29th. We don't know when Kobayashi will race next, but we do know that Van Gisbergen has a handful of races he'll run this year. But I'd say, at least for the expectations set for those, global stars, did not have the results that they wanted.
Kind of back to Brian's question, and just we've got some big boxing matches coming up, right? We've got Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. For those of you who are going to watch it, let me know how it goes. Maybe I'll tune in if I remember it when it's happening. You got Jorge Masvidal and Nate Diaz going to be going at it here soon. Which two drivers in the NASCAR world would you love to see duke it out in a boxing match?
Yeah, I feel like, to get that entrance, while we're on the subject, I guess you got to throw Kyle Busch in there as one. I feel like a Kyle Busch, Joey Logano fight would be somebody that people would want to see, or a Denny Hamlin, Joey Logano fight. Because I think I'm trying to put some history into there as well. Something that names that are kind of, countrywide known for sure that people would tune in. Because obviously Chase Elliott's the most popular driver, but he hasn't really, had any huge beef with anybody yet besides Kevin Harvick. So I think if we're talking historic beef that's lasted like 10 to 15 years, it's got to be either Kyle Busch or Denny Hamlin against Joey Logano. Or, if you want to make it like a WWE style, like tag team match, we're doing Joe Gibbs Racing versus Penske. That's the way that's got to go. But I think if I had to pick one, I'm looking at Kyle Busch versus Joey Logano in a nice boxing match.
I love that, and I like the flair of adding the tag team there. And I think to open up the card, you could probably go with something that you allude to often, Tony Stewart and Matt Kenseth.
Yes, that as well. That would be a good one as well. A little helmet throw action.
My favorite moment of the last 20 years was Kenseth dumping Logano in, where was that, in Loudon? Where did he do that?
Martinsville.
Martinsville. Oh, I loved it. I mean, that was, but I've never been a big Logano guy, but just the old school heavyweight fight. I mean, get Brian Newman back in and bring Jimmy Spencer back out. I'd love to see those two tie it up.
That would be a good one right there, Newman and Spencer. They got some history there, too.
Yeah, that's true.
Hey, give us a recap of the Xfinity race there, RJ.
Yeah, Xfinity race, pretty much about much of the same, pretty calm race. But up until the finish, we did get kind of beaten and banging finish there at the end. It was Austin Hill and Shane Van Gisbergen going toe-to-toe. It was an overtime restart because of a caution that happened right before that. Austin Hill takes the lead like he does in those final laps. He moved SVG up the racetrack, and then going into for the final few corners, SVG got him back. They both moved up, and hey, Kyle Larson's right there. He comes on through, passes both of them literally on the final lap, and ends up taking the victory. So Kyle Larson was the guy to come into the Xfinity Series race. He also won the pole, so doing the same thing that William Byron did. Hendrick Motorsports goes 2 for 2 on Saturday and Sunday, and Larson was able to get that win on Saturday.
Coming up, we're going to be at Richmond. What's your favorite part about that track at Richmond?
I would say just how the track looks under the lights, and we haven't had a night race there in about 2 to 3 years, I believe, in the Cup Series. It's kind of alternated. We went years with the night race, and then it went back to the day race, and then night race. So now we're back in that phase where we got the Richmond night race back, because a lot of people said the racing was better during the day. Me, personally, I don't think the racing at Richmond's ever going to be amazing, but as the track continues to age and we can get this package better, we can still see some classic short track racing. So I enjoy that the track has become wider recently. Looks like in this next gen car you're able to run up top a little bit, but we haven't seen a race at night in a while. And I'm also interested, hey, let's bring that same tire that we had at Bristol to Richmond, and then maybe spice some things up and see what happens. But I'm not sure exactly how that's going to go. Like I said, I haven't seen a night race there in a while, so going to be interesting to see. But I do enjoy Richmond. I'm glad we're going back there for the night race, and it's going to be kind of our first night race, first official night race of the year.
There you go. And then let's get into your top 3 drivers for the Xfinity Series and the Cup Series over there at Richmond. We'll start it off with the Xfinity Series.
Yeah, the Xfinity Series, they'll be racing during the day on Saturday around 1 o'clock. I'm going to look at somebody like Justin Allgaier, who's won at Richmond multiple times back when they did doubleheaders back in 2020. He won both of them. And so he won a night race and a day race, very seasoned there. I'd expect him to be very strong. We got somebody like Sheldon Creed, I think, in that number 18 car. It's about time that he kind of breaks through. He's had a few runner-up finishes this year. I think he finally is able to get that win there on Saturday. And then kind of like a wild card pick, I'm looking like somebody like Josh Williams, a short track guy, to finally kind of seize that opportunity with Colleague Racing. Maybe he has a good run on Saturday. And then over to the Cup Series, I would look at somebody like Denny Hamlin to start off with. I think Hamlin's been great at Richmond, great in this next-gen car as well. He's won a few races there. Stewart Haas Racing tends to have some decent success at Richmond, especially Rodney Childers. Let's throw Josh Berry into there in the 4 car. They did really well at Bristol, so I think they could have a great chance to do well at Richmond as well. And then somebody that's won there in the past, let's throw Chris Buescher in there. So let's have a Toyota and 2 Fords there in that 3. Chris Buescher maybe gets another win at Richmond.
All right, RJ, thank you so much for your time. Looking forward to chatting with you next Monday as we recap what goes on over there at Richmond. As always, educational and informative. You do a great job, my friend. Keep up the great work, and we'll chat with you next week.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. See you next week.
All right, that's RJ Starcevic. If you are a NASCAR fan and you're on Instagram, you need to type in the NASCAR report and get the latest and greatest information going on in the world of NASCAR. He does a phenomenal job. I'm not just bragging on him. Really, go check his stuff out. It is great stuff. You're listening to the Afternoon Underdogs here on ESPN Northwest Florida. We're going to take a brief time out. When we return, we're going to be talking Wrestling Against Cancer 9 with Jack Patterson.
ESPN
ESPN Northwest Florida has your chance to win a pair of tickets to the Geico 500. Join Coach Hale mornings at 7:15 and 8:15 to enter. The Race to Talladega. Then at 12:15 and 5:15, listen for your name called. If we announce your name, race to the phones. How long it takes you to call 850-215-6290 is your qualifying time. The fastest qualifying times win a pair of tickets to Talladega. Right here from ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good afternoon. This is Joanna with your weather forecast from ESPN Northwest Florida on this Monday. Partly cloudy the remainder of the day with a wind around 21 miles per hour coming out of the southeast and 72. Tonight, look for some clouds with a temperature near 67. Tomorrow, a high around 73 and mostly cloudy in the morning, followed by a chance of thunderstorms. This weather forecast is brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for keeping that dial at ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Hey there, folks. Looking for a place that feels like home right in the heart of Panama City? Well, look no further than Charlie Corm's place at their new location on 15th Street. Charlie Corm's is not just a place, it's an experience. Imagine cozy corners, friendly faces, and the aroma of delicious dishes that'll make your taste buds dance. From sunrise breakfast to late night bites, Charlie Corm's on 15th Street has it all. Charlie Corm's place on 15th Street is now offering exclusive weekday lunch specials. Visit Charlie Corm's place on 15th Street. Look for the giant mural.
Hello, Rick Vossen with RV of Panama City, your local Stormore portable building dealer located at 2241 East Baldwin Road. Hey, it's March Madness out there, and Stormore's got March Madness going on with a 10% discount through the month of March for both new buildings on the lot as well as built buildings. And I want to remind you, perfect time to get that pool house or that quilting room. Come see me, Rick, at RV of Panama City, the local Stormore portable building dealer, 2241 East Baldwin Road.
Now back to the Afternoon Underdogs.
This 53-man roster is stupid.
Where it's halftime all the time.
Raise the rosters, you cheapskate owners, and get that done now.
The Afternoon Underdogs.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
And we're back. You guys are riding along with the Afternoon Underdogs. This is ESPN Northwest Florida. Can you feel the magic? It's the Hall & Hearts ESPN Northwest Florida Magic Express. Ride with us on the ultimate road trip. We're taking a busload of ESPN Northwest Florida listeners to see the Orlando Magic play the Chicago Bulls Sunday, April 7th. You'll watch the game from a presidential suite, and it comes with food, drinks, and a free ride on the Magic Express. To enter, just open the ESPN Northwest Florida app and click Enter Contest. And if you don't have the ESPN Northwest Florida app, go to your Google Play Store or your Apple Store, type in 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Now in the building with us, it is Jack Patterson. He runs Wrestling Against Cancer, and we are on the 9th installment of that. Tickets are just $12 for adults. Kids are from 6 to 17, get in for $8. 5 and under get in for free with a paid adult. Doors open at 5:30, bell time at 6:30. And the most important of this, the entire event, Jack, is what?
Main thing is helping Jaden with his cancer medical expenses. That's what it's all about him that night and nobody else. It's just everybody come around, have a good night of wrestling.
Yep.
Enjoy it. A good family entertainment show, and it's just going to be a fun night, and hope we raise a lot of money for Jaden.
Yes, how is Jaden doing lately?
Last time I talked to his mom, she said he's doing better. He's in remission right now.
Okay,
so that's
awesome.
A good thing. So.
Yeah. And Jaden's what, 15 years old?
He just turned 16 in March.
Just turned 16, yeah. Oh, so right here in this month. Well, happy birthday, Jaden, if you're listening. And if you're not listening, then, Jack, you can show him this later. Happy birthday to you from all of us here at ESPN Northwest Florida, including Jack Patterson, who does such a great job putting on these events. I've been to 3 of them, I think, now. Yeah, 3 of them. And each time they just get better and better, man. It's a lot of fun and great for the crowd. What can fans look forward to this night when we're putting on for Jaden?
Well, it can look forward to. It's going to be a WWE superstar. He's former WWE superstar Scott Armstrong. Mm-hmm. He was a referee. He's going to be there. Then he went to producer WWE. So he's going to be there that night to help out. That's Bullet. People that don't know who he is, that's Bullet Bob Armstrong's son.
Nice.
And there's going to be all kind of good matches. There's going to be a Cali Man versus Kelly Clark in the Wrestling Against Cancer Championship match.
And for those of you who don't know about that, with Cali Man and Kelly Clark, Kelly Clark kind of was under the wing of Cali Man for a while, and now Mr. Personality has his own personality, and that's going to be a great bout. Is there a title on the line for that one, or are they just going after it?
It's for the Wrestling Against Cancer Championship.
Oh, that one's for the belt of the evening. Oh, okay. What are some other things we can look forward to that night, Jack?
We got a Florida Heavyweight Championship match. The winner gets the belt that night. And we got a Battle Royal. Maria and Dennis love Battle Royal.
Oh, yeah.
I do that every year. It's just like a bunch of guys in the ring just fighting it out. And the winner gets this plaque that they get.
Yeah, and that starts the show off, doesn't it?
Yes, usually that's first match.
Yeah,
always.
That's a great way to start the evening, because you get to get a glance at a lot of the wrestlers and a lot of the talent that you'll be seeing later on that evening, and then you get to see a lot of high-flying acrobatics as far as them flying over the top rope and exiting the match at that point.
Yes, and there's going to be a ladies' match. It's going to be Emily Locke and Casey Lennox versus T. Gaines and Savannah Thorne. Of course, T. Gaines has been to my show last few years. Emily Locke's been there a few years now. Savannah Thorne was there last year. But we got Casey Lennox coming in. It's the first time she's ever wrestled in Panama City, Florida.
And I think don't you have a couple of girls on the roster that have been on AEW before?
Yes. Casey Lennox has been on AEW, so has Savannah Thorne.
There you go. Yeah, Savannah Thorne, she was really cool. I want to get her back on if we can in one of the shows coming up here in April, because I know that she follows her sports very well, or she follows her sports as well. So let's try to get Savannah Thorne on if she can make some time to get back in here.
Okay.
Yes, sir. So what else we got, Jack?
It's just going to be a great night of wrestling. It's going to be... They're coming out there to have a good time. They're coming out to help Jaden. These wrestlers, you just can't. I just thank them so much because they come in and they do the hard work. Because that's hard work out there.
Oh, yeah.
Some people think it's not real hard work, but it is hard work because they're putting their body on the lines. Every time they take a bump, they take a chance of getting hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, they're doing it for free. And that's the thing. That's so they're glad to do it. They're looking forward to it a lot. I talked to so many and they're ready for it. When this is over, they'll be wanting to do it again.
Yeah.
That's just their heart.
And it's so true, too, because last year I was back in the locker room when we had the opening prayer, and a lot of the guys were very, just kind of hearing them and how they talk about this event and what it means to them. It's not about the money at all, which all of the other shows that they do, not saying that, of course, they got to have a great love and a great passion for the sport of wrestling, right? But again, it's something to kind of help, yes, it gives them the outlet to continue to do the hobby that it is that they love, but it's also a way to help support them financially. And when it comes to this, it's nothing about that. It's, yes, still the love of wrestling, but even more so the love of whoever it is that you're benefiting. In this case, this particular instance, it happens to be Jaden and his medical expenses. And this is going to be April 27th, so we are just just over a month to go here. And this is going to be at Bay Haven Charter Academy. Is there anything that people need to know as far as where parking, anything like that?
No, just go to Bay Haven Charter Academy gym, back there by the gym, and just got plenty of parking back there. There's no limit on, because they got plenty of parking, because when they run out there, they can park over by the front.
There you go. And if anyone can't make it on April 27th and you would like to donate to the cause, donate to Jaden and his medical expenses, right now you can text us that you're interested at 850-215-6290. We'll relay the information on to Jack. Or Jack, if you'd like to, you can give your number out right here live on the air.
Yeah, my phone number is 850-625-2862. Leave a message if I don't answer.
Yeah.
And you can contact me on jack.patterson24@yahoo.com, or hit me up on Facebook.
There you go. So,
Jack Patterson.
Yeah. So what? Tell the people again what kind of got you started into what helped you get started on creating this Wrestling Against Cancer.
Well, I've always the sport of wrestling I've always loved, and so my sister got cancer. That was the very first show I did, and and I seen what she went through. And I seen what the family went through financially and all that, and everything, the mental stuff that they'll go through. I've seen it. And then I wanted to do something to help people that's battling that cancer and stuff. I hate cancer because I've seen what it's done to friends of mine and different people. And it's like, I knew how to promote wrestling shows, and I knew about wrestling, and that was my way of starting to help people.
Yeah. And we want to make this one the biggest and the greatest that it's ever been, as we do each and every year. How many seats do you think Bay Haven Charter Academy has? How many seats available? Because whatever it is, I want to add 100 to that and have standing room only that evening. And I'm depending on the listeners here to help us out here. I'm sure that you're advertising in many other places, Jack, but a lot of our listeners I know are fans of wrestling, because anytime we start talking about wrestling, especially if it's about the good old days of wrestling, not saying that there's how everyone is about the good old days of any sport that it is that you're talking about, and we'll say top 5 wrestlers, all of a sudden texts start coming in about their top 5 wrestlers. So how many seats do you think Bay Haven Charter Academy holds?
Well, they told me the bleachers hold 500.
All right.
And there's going to be some ringside seats too, probably going to be maybe 150 or 200 seats maybe.
Are we doing raffles again this year?
Yeah, I'll be doing raffles that night.
Yeah. And again with concessions and stuff, all of that stuff goes to Jaden as well, doesn't it?
Well, it depends on Bay Haven right now.
Yeah.
Bay Haven
right.
may do it this year to help them out, but if they don't do it, I will be doing the concession, and we'll all go to Jaden.
Yeah, so anything that you specifically are in charge of, all of that goes to Jaden. But if Bay Haven is putting on the concessions because they've already paid for those concessions, that definitely makes sense there. You've got last year the raffles were great. You had a lot of great items to give out, and we had some great winners as well. It was a great show last year, not just a great show, but it was a packed house, and I'm looking forward to making it to where there is no empty space on that bleacher this year.
Fill up the seats and everything. You can stand and
there you go.
Stand if you and I'll even cut the price down if you have to stand.
All right, there you go.
That way you're having to stand, or bring your own chair in case it is full.
BYOC, baby.
Yep.
BYOC.
Just in case the seats are full and you can have a seat out there on the gym floor.
Yeah, this is wonderful stuff, and I'm honored to be able to be a part of this. I'll be doing the ring announcing for this. Not very good at it, but hey, I have a lot of fun with it, and I appreciate you allowing me to be a part of something like this that is for a great cause.
You're welcome, Dave. Like you know, ESPN is one of my biggest supporters. They're the biggest as far as advertisement goes and stuff. And anytime, man, I wouldn't ask you. If I didn't think you was any good, I wouldn't ask you.
Yeah, April 27th, Wrestling Against Cancer 9. Casey Lennox, Emily Locke going to be taking on Savannah Thorne and T. Gaines. You also see the Nelsonizer there. Mr. 850, Donnie B. Mike Steele is going to be there. Hollywood Hickman, Chuck Diamond, Silas Brown, James Gator, Graham. Just a lot of local talent. What is it that, in your opinion, kind of separates or just makes it a little bit more personal with these local wrestlers compared to what you can see on WWE and AEW?
My personal opinion, I think they put their heart into it more than WWE does. Because they're there. The WWE stars are there already. These guys are coming. They're trying to get there. They want to get there. Of course, there's a lot of people that don't never get there. But they're trying their hardest to get there and get seen. That's why a lot of people do these shows they want to get seen more. They want to,
Yeah.
and that's why they do shows like that.
Yeah. And this is going to be a great time. Again, this is to support the medical expenses for Jaden, who is dealing with cancer. He is in remission right now of cancer, but still, that does not stop the bills by any stretch of the imagination. If you would like to help Jaden out with his medical expenses, you can text right now to 850-215-6290. Just text that you want to help. We'll put you in contact with Jack, or you can call or text Jack directly at 850-625-2862. This is going to be April 27th. Tickets are $12. Here's another way you can help. Just come look. How often can you help by buying something that really you get enjoyment of out of yourself as well? Tickets $12. Kids 6 through 17 get in for $8. 5 and under get in for free with a paid adult. Doors are going to be opening at 5:30. Bell time at 6:30. We're going to be kicking it off at 6:30 with the Marie Love Battle Royale or Battle Royal, which is always fun. I remember the first one that I did, or the first one I was at, one of the guys got thrown out of the ring and his daggum knee got dislocated. So there's some injuries that come along with this sport, and these guys are putting their bodies on the line. Jack, thank you so much for stopping by today, and we look forward to wrestling against Cancer 9.
You welcome, man.
Absolutely. Jack Patterson, we're going to give him a Go Knowles as well. Hey, Jack, we will talk to you here in the month of April coming up. But coming up next, we're going to be doing the PCB Hobby Takeover with the owner, Todd Mueller. You guys are riding along with the Afternoon Underdogs, tuned in to ESPN Northwest Florida. We'll return shortly.
ESPN Northwest Florida has your chance to win a pair of tickets to the Geico 500. Join Coach Hale mornings at 7:15 and 8:15 to enter. The Race to Talladega. Then at 12:15 and 5:15, listen for your name called. If we announce your name, race to the phones. How long it takes you to call 850-215-6290 is your qualifying time. The fastest qualifying times win a pair of tickets to Talladega, right here from ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good afternoon. This is Joanna with your weather forecast from ESPN Northwest Florida on this Monday. Partly cloudy the remainder of the day with a wind around 21 miles per hour coming out of the southeast and 72. Tonight, look for some clouds with a temperature near 67. Tomorrow, a high around 73 and mostly cloudy in the morning, followed by a chance of thunderstorms. This weather forecast is brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for keeping that dial at ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Hey folks, Chris Kramer with Bill Kramer GM. And the best place to listen to the Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey is inside a brand new vehicle from Bill Kramer GM. And I want you to know we've got 10 times the amount of inventory on the ground as we did this time last year, and darn near all of them are discounted. So shop us online at BillKramerGM.com or visit us the corner of Frankfurt and 23rd. We'll make it easy and take great care of you.
WPLQ Port St. Joe, WGSX Lynn Haven. Powered by Panama City Toyota.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Hi folks, I'm Tracy from Tracy's Fine Jewelry. Shopping for the perfect diamond can be difficult, but that's why I've trained my staff to offer you a stress-free diamond experience. Me and my I Do crew have 50 years experience, and we have more certified diamonds in stock at the best prices in town. So if you're tired of high-pressure salespeople, come see me, your diamond girl, and my I Do crew at Tracy's Fine Jewelry, because we don't work on commissions. We work for smiles and I Do's.
ESPN Northwest Florida. The NCAA Men's Basketball Championship Tournament plays here.
And that'll do it! The Knights have slain the Dragon!
Exclusively on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Thanks, Jack. All right, guys, we are back for hour number 2. You are riding along with the Afternoon Underdogs. I'm David Hayes, along with Coach Brian Haddad and James Fife. We just had Jack Patterson in talking about wrestling against Cancer 9. All proceeds going to help out Jaden's medical expenses. Man, we've got so much stuff going on right now. But first, let's go to some of the biggest news. So, 4:45, Shohei Ohtani and his press conference started. Brian,
it's over.
and it's over. So that was a 15-minute press conference. What have you been able to find out?
So here are some quotes. They did not take questions, which we knew going in. So this is Shohei Ohtani on the situation. Up until a few days ago, I didn't know this was happening. In conclusion, Ippei, if I get these pronunciations wrong, I apologize, has been stealing money from my account and has told lies. The first time I knew about his gambling was after the first game in Korea when we had a team meeting in the clubhouse. I never agreed to pay off the debt or make payments to the bookmaker. My lawyers confirmed that since this is fraud, we have the proper authorities handling this matter. Now, this is a little bit of an expanded statement by Ohtani. He says, that he did not know the extent of Mizuhara, it's Ippei Mizuhara, his translator, did not know the extent of Mizuhara's gambling or that he was in debt until Mizuhara addressed the Dodgers in a team meeting. In that meeting, Mizuhara claimed in English that Ohtani had willingly paid off his debts. Now, Ohtani did not have a translator, but knew enough English to, as he says, kind of understand what was going on, and he said started to feel something was amiss. He says that Mizuhara later admitted to having taken Ohtani's money without his knowledge. And this is a quote from Ohtani. It was an absurd thing that was happening, and I contacted my representatives at that point. So the line from Ohtani is, Mizuhara said to the Dodgers, I've been gambling. Ohtani has willingly paid my debts. This is that. At that point, Ohtani says he contacted his representatives because that's wrong. Then Mizuhara later admitted to him that he had been stealing the money. I'm going to stand 100% by what I led the show with.
All right.
And I know it would put him in legal jeopardy, but I still think it paints Ohtani in a good personal light. I think the guy came clean that he was in over his head on debt with gambling. I think Ohtani paid it off for him and then realized, wait, I've now made a wire transfer to an illegal bookmaker. My career's on the line.
Yeah.
I think he told this guy, look, I got to cut you loose and I got to say this is fraud. And, like I said, somewhere down the line, he'll make it up to him. Now, that in and of itself can be a crime.
Yeah.
So I don't know that we'll ever find out the truth in this, but if you're asking me what my gut tells me, that's what my gut tells me.
They just seem to be too close for this to have never been discussed behind closed doors.
I could see this guy gambling a little bit here and there, and Ohtani not know the extent. And look, people who have gambling problems are master manipulators.
Right.
They just are. And oftentimes they're better with the people who know them best.
Yeah.
And I think this guy, what every person who's ever had a gambling problem will tell you is, I can get out of this.
Yeah.
I can get out of this. I think this guy got to the point where he kept telling himself that until he couldn't.
Yeah.
Now, again, I have no proof. That is pure conjecture on my part. It may have happened exactly like Ohtani said.
I guess, why not?
I just don't think so.
Why not, to try to keep it on the up and up, why wouldn't have Ohtani wired the money to Ippei and then Ippei take that money and... All right. Because of the fees that come along with wire transfers?
Here again, now keep this in mind. This is where the fact that their Japanese nationals they may not have understood the law.
Yeah.
In California. And that's what I mean. It could very well be he didn't realize sending that wire transfer was going to be anything illegal or traceable or whatever. He was probably just thinking, I'm going to get my friend out of his problem.
Well, so in Japan, most forms of gambling are generally banned by the Criminal Code Chapter 23. However, there are several exceptions, including betting on horse racing and certain motorsports. To be quite frank with you, now it is illegal in California.
Right.
And it's with an illegal
but
gambling
just remember
ring.
How close they are to Las Vegas as well.
No, right.
Yeah.
No, that's kind of where I'm leading into this. Yes, it is illegal. However, if these guys, especially now, Ippei more than likely should know better with him being able to speak English. But every time, I don't care what it is that you're watching that is sports related, there is something being advertised that is gambling. If you did not know that it's illegal, even if you don't know it's illegal, or even if you know it's illegal, it's treated like it's not illegal.
Yeah.
I'm
there's
saying
no
as
doubt.
far as advertising and all of that stuff goes. Now, that's why it's so hard for me on all of this, because it's like there's just so many ways that it could go. So I just feel like it's better to refrain from giving opinion. But here we are on sports radio, and that's just not a plausibility.
Again, this is all a guess, but my guess is he thought paying off the debt because he wasn't betting.
Yeah.
He probably didn't even consider it. Should he have had people involved who could have told him that? Yeah, but we don't know how he handles his finances. We don't know if he has to go through 10 different people to send something, or if Shohei Ohtani's proactive on that stuff. We just don't know.
My biggest thing is if he was gambling on baseball, and when I say baseball, I mean Major League Baseball. If he's betting on NPB or something like that, have at it.
In all the reports I've read, it doesn't appear like any of the gambling, whether it was Nippe or Ippe or Shohei or whoever, what was related to baseball.
It was more than likely on football.
Yeah.
Like let's be honest, and we
or
have
basketball.
no idea. Or,
look
or
at the
basketball.
timing.
Yeah,
it could very well be basketball, but
oh man, March Madness is just
right.
as
Basketball's huge in Asia.
And let's say that Ippe is down big money. Oh well. In this one tournament, I could win it all back and some.
So, look, again, we probably will never know the whole truth of the matter. That's just, based on everything I've read, that seems the most plausible scenario. The next most plausible is it's exactly as Shohei is saying.
Yeah.
I think the least plausible is that Shohei's gambling himself.
Yeah.
I just think it is.
Well,
I could be dead wrong on that.
From some of the former players that he's played with, which, again, they have no... they have no reason to lie about it or a reason to throw him under the bus that he was gambling. But a lot of them said that, he wasn't very knowledgeable about sports or didn't seem to care about other sports. Not that he wasn't knowledgeable, didn't seem to care about other sports. But again, you're talking about, let's just be honest, he is the face of baseball. And it's not really a close second best. Maybe you could go with Acuna, but...
Yeah. No, he's the face of baseball. And look, he does not strike me as a guy who gets a thrill off gambling, but I don't know the guy.
Yeah, exactly.
And you never know what anybody who has hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars is going to do. It may have just been a thrill play for him if he did it. I just don't. The most plausible, based on my read of him as a person,
right,
is that he was bailing his buddy out and then realized, I just did something illegal. That's, to me, what I think happened.
I don't think the Dodgers or even Major League Baseball would ever let this happen, but I would like him to sit down with an interviewer, and he has nothing but Google Translate at that point.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's like, get everyone else out of there, because here's the other thing that we as English-speaking Americans could never tell is, when that interpreter is getting the question relayed to them, what are they you know what I'm saying? The interpreter can really run the whole gamut of the conversation at that point in time.
100%. I'm reading more about, and I was not able to listen. I'm just reading transcripts from Chad Jennings. But the press conference lasted 12 minutes. And he said Ohtani went into quite a bit of detail. Going through everything. Obviously did not answer any questions. But
how much detail can you go into in a press conference that lasted 15 minutes? Or they just aired the press conference?
We just went through a lot of scenarios in 6 minutes.
That's very fair. That's very fair, Brian. I stand corrected there.
Another question I have is, who did his translating?
They did have someone there. I don't know who they are. It appeared to be someone representing the Dodgers, who appeared to be, again, I couldn't hear it, but you would see Shohei talk and this person talk, so I'm assuming this was his translator. Now, whether this is someone who he brought in or someone who's on the Dodgers payroll, I don't know, but it appeared to be someone with the Dodgers, or they just gave him some swag.
Well, we pivot. It's the PCB Hobby Takeover now with owner Todd Mueller.
Here we go. Todd's got a theory.
I've been listening.
All right. Todd thinks I'm wrong. I know.
No. I absolutely 100% agree with you.
Ooh.
And what's even furthermore is I try to tell everybody this is exactly why you have to be careful about current players.
You were the first person I thought about with this, bro.
Oh, my gosh. I've been trying to tell you all this. collect Mickey Mantle. The guy's dead. I'm sorry.
I'm not even joking. Whenever this news broke, whatever day it was, early or late last week, no, it was probably Wednesday, I think. Yeah. So when that news broke, I was thinking, this is exactly why Todd tells people.
That's why I tell everybody, collect something that's not going to pay gambling debts. Come on.
Now, could the infamy
Anyways, yeah, I don't think Ohtani knows about gambling personally.
Okay.
I think that it's just a guy that helped his translator out and did exactly what Brian said, honestly. Yeah. But this is exactly why, my whole point exactly, you need to be careful at who you collect, why you collect them, and don't overpay for current players because something can happen and you're going to lose it.
Mm-hmm. So the question is, do we buy, sell, or hold Shohei Ohtani?
Right. I think you're done at this point until it blows over.
Yeah.
Have him have a good year at the Dodgers, have everything blow over, and then you're back in the game again. So hold.
Yeah.
Don't do anything right now, because if you sell, you're gonna lose.
Yeah.
Because the first thing I'm gonna tell you when you walk in my shop, oh, you hear about Ohtani?
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you $1,000 for that $2,000 card.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A day ago, the opportunity was buying because there was a lot of fear going into this press conference. It was dropping pretty hard.
Right.
I was buying.
Yep.
A day ago. Today, I think he put out a lot of fire. Now, it's not all the way out. And there's a lot more to come as the investigation goes. I think he did a lot to stabilize himself. I also think a lot of people went into hold mode.
Yep. I think it's hold mode now.
I think 100% it's hold mode at this point.
For sure. How's everybody doing? Happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
Sorry I'm late.
Happy Monday.
Unfortunately. Fortunately, I got caught in an accident. I wasn't in the accident, but all I saw on the road was a bike. So not good.
Yeah.
Not good. But regardless of that, I made it here, and things are going great, everybody. We're super excited that summer is starting to creep upon us.
Yes.
Thank God. I'm happy about the 70-degree weathers, so at least. But things are going good at the shop. Like usual, we are busy with everything going on. eBay Live has been wonderful. Doing a lot of coin streams on that. We also have been doing TCG streams, Pokemon. We've also been doing comic book streams. We had a really fun one Friday night. Sold a bunch of slabbed inventory. That was really cool.
Nice.
A lot of people in there. And then we, of course, are doing sports cards as well on eBay Live. Whatnot is still a thing, of course. So if you haven't checked us out there. But our name on eBay Live is PCB Hobby. So it's pretty simple.
Pretty simple.
Pretty consistent across the board, right? If you haven't checked out the calendar again, we have several events coming up. I believe there's even a brand new release, Temporal Forces, I think it was, Pokemon, that just released. So that's cool. And check out the rest of our stuff. We've been doing, again, Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday night, and Saturday night events. And what's really cool is if you want to come play during the day, you can come play too, because we've had several people, like there was several people there today just playing. Just having a good time playing against each other and stuff like that. So it's really good. Been getting a ton of comic book inventory in, so that's awesome. Several customers coming in too for that. So it's been pretty busy with comic books. We got all the new releases coming out. We're also on eBay Live doing Wednesday comic book opening day, basically.
Real quick. Go ahead and hit that sounder. We're going to get you on the line. Richard, you are on the clock. For the race to Talladega. Call in right now, 850-215-6290. Now back to the PCB Hobby Takeover.
Awesome. Talladega. Let's go.
Yes, sir. So sorry about the interruption.
No. I actually used to watch. The funny thing is, growing up, I used to watch a lot of racing, and I watched a lot of wrestling too. And my mom actually loved wrestling, and her and I would watch wrestling all the time. So I knew all the different stars. I knew all the different people in WWF back then?
Yeah. Well, and Portland was a legendary territory.
Legendary for wrestling. So got to go to some wrestling matches. That was a lot of fun. And also got to watch a lot of basketball. My dad loved the Portland Trailblazers. So I got to go to a lot of those. But anyways, so sports has been in my background for a long time. In fact, it's funny that I was hearing the segment before where the gentleman was saying that that some of the female wrestlers were on there too. I actually know a female wrestler too, and that was on WWE for a couple years.
Nice.
And so her name was Tiffany, I believe. Tiffany, yeah. So anyways, that was her wrestling.
Wrestling, right? Gotcha.
Anyways, and that was about, I guess, probably about 10 years ago.
Wow.
So anyways, so cool. I mean, I love stuff like that.
Yeah, that's great stuff. Great stuff there. One more buy, seller, holder. We got anything else?
So remember, opening day is Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
So Thursday, guys need to come by the shop. If we have enough people show up, we'll have the games on and stuff like that. The Phillies, I think it's at 1:15.
I think that's first one. I can't remember.
Yeah, I think the Phillies and the Braves are going to be playing. We'll have that on the TVs. I'll put it out there. If enough of you show up, I'll buy you guys food, whatever. Let's just have a good time.
I think there's going to be sealed product deal.
Yeah, and I think we're going to have
like
a sealed product deal.
10% sealed product deal.
Yeah.
So definitely come out Thursday.
Yeah, so it's going to be a lot of fun.
205.
205, there you go.
Yes,
okay.
sir.
I couldn't remember. So 205, Braves game's going to be on. The first Braves game of the season for us. And we're super excited about that. Again, we'll have it all on the TV.
And there'll be 2 new products that actually drop on Wednesday. So perfect time. MLB or Topps Big League, which is a great product for kids, new collectors.
Last year, my wife loved the Mike Trout card. The Mike Trout card had a big old trout on it. It was hilarious. He was like in a fishing uniform.
And for those of you who like the higher end of it, Topps Tribute comes out as well. So there's products out there for everybody on opening day, the way it should be.
Absolutely, yeah. So
and PCB Hobby, a big sponsor of our big bracket challenge. How's your bracket looking?
I have no idea. I haven't looked, but Bill is on it. Bill, I think, was not saying too good of words the other night about the bracket. So I'm thinking it's not going well.
Must have gone SEC heavy.
Yeah.
So, well, I know he had Kentucky in the Final Four. I think he had Purdue in the Final Four.
In fact, I have it in a text right here. Let me just pull it up
because I know you brought
he sent that to me.
Yeah, you brought him up last week, so I was trying to remember off of that because I had Kentucky going into the Final Four.
Well, it was either it was either a text or it wasn't. It was. I know exactly what it was. He sent an email. Oh well. Anyways, yeah, he had. I'm pretty sure he had Kentucky in the Final Four. Which, excuse me, didn't they get beat?
Yeah, in the first round to Oakland. Yeah. Not from California.
So Alabama's still in there.
Yeah, they are.
I watched that last night.
There we go, man.
Yeah, roll tide. I know you guys hate that, but I'm still roll tide.
Yeah, none of us on this side of the glass. Yeah. We all love it. So, but on the,
I laughed one time. I went to New Orleans with my wife, and we went to Pat O'Brien's, and they make hurricanes, the best hurricanes. And there was a guy up there on the piano, and they said something about college, something. I said, watch this, honey. And I hollered out, roll tide. And I kid you not, a drink showed up for both her and I about 2 minutes later. Some guy was like, I'm from Alabama, man. Here you go. I was like, that's right.
Southern hospitality.
Southern hospitality is great. All you got to do is say roll tide. It fixes everything.
You never know what will happen.
In 2000, I went and saw Alabama open the season against UCLA at the Rose Bowl. And the night before, we're out on the Sunset Strip, and I kid you not, every Alabama fan in L.A. was in the one bar on the Sunset Strip that had a mechanical bull. Like, you can't make this up. We go all the way to L.A., and we find the bar that has the bull in it.
Nice. This is what I'm talking about. Also, real quick, I just need to do a quick shout-out. My wife, Sharon, asked me a question over text, and since I had to speed here, I didn't get a chance to text and drive, which is good because you're not supposed to text and drive, right? And so, honey, you need to buy 2. You need to buy 2. So if you're listening, buy 2. There you go.
Why should you go to PCB Hobby for coins rather than a place like Facebook Marketplace?
Well, the problem is there's a lot of scam coins out there, but it's not necessarily, I'm not putting it that people are scamming, that they don't know what they have that's real or not real.
Yeah.
You know, they find something, they think it's real, they post it for sale, and then the next thing you know, you're not actually buying something authentic. We make sure everything's authentic. We don't sell fakes. We're not interested in that business, and we're not doing that type of stuff. So that's the real reason.
Hey, all of the hobbies in this world you can find over there at PCB Hobby. Hence the name. Just recently renovated or renovate. I was gonna say combined into the 2 stores. Expanded. Yeah. Oh man, just beautiful over there, and lots of room for activities, as they would say. And Step Brothers, great stuff. Todd, I hate that we gotta
I know. I'm sorry I was late, guys. Appreciate everybody, and have a wonderful week.
Yes, sir, man. And we'll have you back next Monday.
Awesome.
Absolutely. That is Todd Mueller, owner of PCB Hobby. Next week, we're talking about that 1796 Drape Bus quarter in buy, sell, or hold.
How did you hear about that?
I've been Googling stuff.
Oh, no. We are so in trouble. I will neither confirm nor deny that I own one.
Leaks everywhere.
I just Googled...
neither confirm nor deny. But yes, it is our first American quarter.
All right. Hey, there we go. Hey, that's Todd Mueller, and he'll be back with us next Monday. We'll be right back. We're going to have Brian Crichton, the president of Talladega Super Speedway.
Sorry about that.
ESPN Northwest Florida presents
Wrestling Against Cancer, number 9.
Saturday, April 27th at Bayhaven Charter Academy. In the main event, it's a tag team showdown with Exodus versus Mike Steele and Mr. 850. Plus exciting women's wrestling. Tickets still just $12. Ages 6 to 17, only $8. 5 and under, free.
More information, ESPNPC.com.
Good evening. This is Joanna with your weather forecast from ESPN Northwest Florida on this Monday. Partly cloudy tonight with a wind around 18 miles per hour coming out of the southeast and a low of 67. Tomorrow morning, look for a mixture of light sprinkles and clouds with a temperature near 70. In the afternoon and evening, a high around 71 and a likelihood of thunderstorms and light rain. This weather forecast is sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. Thank you for listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Golf is a game that should be fun, but to have the most fun, you need to play your best. That's where the experts at Golf Plus come in. Their friendly staff will guide you through the buying process, answer all your questions, and can help with any repairs you need along the way. Golf Plus is your custom fitting, club repair, and golf retail shop. Golf Plus staff is non-commissioned and will work with you to find the best product for your game, just like they've been doing since 1988. Golf Plus in Dothan and Panama City Beach. Fitting, repair, retail. That's Golf Plus.
Ready to save big on the #1 selling car brand in the world? It's Ready, Set, Go time at Panama City Toyota, where you'll get 2.99% APR plus 90 days until you make your first payment on a new Camry. Get 2.99% on the sporty Corolla, ready for 2.99% on a new RAV4, and get 2.99% on the Taft Tundra. Wherever life leads, there's a Toyota for you, right here at Panama City Toyota.
Offer expires April 1st. For details, visit PanamaCityToyota.com.
ESPN Northwest Florida. The NCAA Men's Basketball Championship Tournament plays here.
And that'll do it! The Knights have slain the Dragon!
Exclusively on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back into the Doghouse. You're riding along with the Afternoon Underdogs, listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. James, real quick, do we have a qualifying time for Richard? Did he call in?
He came in with 16 seconds.
All right, so that is the leader right now. Don Walton did not call in this morning or this afternoon, earlier this afternoon. So 16 seconds is the time to beat the fastest qualifying times, winning a pair of tickets to Talladega for the Geico 500. Make sure you're listening to the Coach Hale Show mornings at 7:15 and 8:15 in the morning to enter the race. They're going to hit you with a code word. Then you text that code word to 850-215-6290 along with your racing name. Then at 12:15 and 5:15, listen for your names to be called. If we announce your name, race to those phones. And however long it takes you to call back at 850-215-6290 is your qualifying time. Now on the line with us, the president of the Talladega Super Speedway. He was on with the Inside Drive earlier today, Brian Crichton. Brian, thank you so much for giving us some of your time. How are you this afternoon?
I'm doing wonderful, and thank you for having me back. I appreciate it.
Oh, yeah, man. We had the opportunity to talk to you last year as well, and as soon as we got the email that we were going to be able to be afforded the opportunity to have you back, I was like, guys, on the Inside Drive, y'all absolutely got to have him. He's a great interview, and I was lucky enough to get you back on here. So give us a few things that our listeners can look forward to that's leading up to the main event, the Geico 500, what's happening on the track if they end up winning the race to Talladega.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, if they end up winning the race, whichever driver wins the race, any of the 3 races we have over the event weekend, they end up inside of our victory lane, which is in the middle of our Talladega Garage Experience, which is our $50 million renovation that puts the fans in the middle of it all. So you walk into one side of the garages, the cars pull into the other side of the garages, you're under the same roof. The only thing that separates you from the race car is about a 4-foot high fence and about 5 feet off the nose of the car. So you can hear the drivers talking to the crew chiefs. The drivers, the crew chiefs, pit crews, they come over to the fence. They talk to you there. They sign autographs. It puts you in the middle of it all. If you haven't been to Talladega, you've got to experience Talladega Garage Experience.
Yes, sir. And what are some of the prices that you guys have? That was one of the things that stood out to me when you were talking with Ryan and Jay earlier, is just how affordable it is. Tell us a little bit about the pricing options.
It is. I felt like I kept saying free on the earlier, but it's on Saturday we have tickets that start at just $45, and kids in 12 and under are free on Saturday. And then on Sunday, tickets start at just $65, and kids 12 and under are at $15. We also have free camping. It's hard to believe that 3 weeks from today, we're going to start loading in our campground. So you have a whole entire week to camp at Talladega Superspeedway from Monday to Monday with a race and some activities in between. But we have 3 free campgrounds. So all you have to do is show that Sunday ticket, and you can camp for free for a week.
Yeah, what are some of those differences in the options that you guys have for camping between premium, infield, and outside?
Yeah, we've got, from the what I call our oceanfront property, which is our finish line premium, which is right there just past the finish line, in between the finish line and turn 1. So all of those spots are all sold out. They are full power water sewer on asphalt. It is the place to be. And then as we go through the infield, too, we also have Talladega Boulevard as well as East Avoca Boulevard. That's the place to be if you want the party. So we got the intersection of it. We call it 5 Points. We're going to have a stage set up there in 5 Points. We're going to be doing driver interviews on Friday night. Lots of fun activities. Wendy's is bringing up in a pop-up Wendy's, and they're giving away biggie bags throughout the entire weekend inside the infield there. So if you roll to the outside, we've got Champions Quarter, which is alcohol-free. So if you want to come out as with a family and you want to be close to everything, but maybe not in the middle of everything, I suggest Champions Corner. South Park is a great campground. It's got a creek that goes through it. Beautiful trees everywhere, a huge shower house that's right there too. And then if you want to be in the middle of the party, you go to North Park, which is right on I-20, and that is the party of them all. It's the party on the outside out there, and that's a free campground. So we do have 3 free campgrounds, from party in the North Park, mid-party in the West Park, and then family down in our South Park. So we try to offer a little bit of everything for everybody.
Yeah, you guys make things very affordable for the fans in a time where things are not as affordable as what they once were for sporting events. What's the key to finding that balance of keeping the fans happy but also not falling into the red?
Yeah, I mean, we're fortunate at Talladega Superspeedway. It's such a great brand, such a great facility, such a great experience that we provide to the fans. The fans keep coming out and they keep supporting us, and so we want to support them back. And so, we try to keep all those prices as affordable as possible. Inside of our Talladega Garage Experience, I forgot to mention this earlier, we have value price concessions: $2 bottles of water, $2 Coke products, $4 16-ounce beers, $2 hot dogs, $4 chicken finger platters. So again, something to give back to the fans when they're there. We like them to have a great meal for $35 to $40, not get the real expensive stuff that's out there as well.
Brian, this is another Brian here. As someone whose last visit to Talladega was nearly 40 years ago, I do have a question. We were up on a baseball tournament, and the only time we could go was on a time where the race wasn't going on. Obviously, you'd love to be there on race weekend. That's what you want to do. But are there things to do? Like, I think we visited the museum, and we got to go up and see the banking on the turn. Are there things to do if you're not able to make it race weekend at Talladega?
Yeah, absolutely. So we do have our Speedway tours that happen pretty much, I'd say, probably 350 days out of the year. So that's probably what you went on. So you could see the high banks of Talladega Speedway. but it's a tour that takes you up to the top of the tower, just underneath where NASCAR race control is, to give you that bird's eye view of the entire facility. Then it takes you down inside of our infield, takes you into Talladega Garage Experience, and then takes you for a lap on the apron. Can't get those tour buses up on those high banks, but around the apron with several stops too. One at the start-finish line, and then we typically stop in the turns too, just so you can get out and see it, because that 33 degrees of banking, I can try to explain it to you, but until you're standing in front of it and see that it just looks like a wall,
yes,
it's unbelievable.
That is 100% true. That's the thing I remember the most. And again, I'm talking back in the, this is in the King and Bill Elliott and Bobby Allison, the Allison Gang days that I was there. But you're right. You walk up to it, and it looks like a 90-degree wall in front of you. And they mentioned to us you had to maintain, I can't remember, 60, 70, whatever miles it is, not to slide down the banking. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, you're exactly right. So if we're taking our pace car around the racetrack, if you're in between 85 and 90, you can actually take your hands off the wheel in the turns, and it takes you right around.
Wow.
If you're going any slower than that, you're actually steering uphill. You're steering uphill because it just wants to take you down to the bottom. So it's an unbelievable place. Something else we do 4 times a year, we let fans come out and drive their personal car around the racetrack. Now it's all paced. We have our fire safety in the front and fire safety in the back of our pickup trucks, and they pace you about 85. Sometimes it gets you up over 100, but don't tell our insurance company I said that. But it puts you out there, and you get to feel that banking, and as you're driving through it, and it always blows me away because I'm thinking about 39 other cars that are around me, all doing 200 miles an hour. A car on my right, a car on my left, a car on my front bumper, a car on my back bumper. Just hoping nobody bobbles and nobody causes the big one. It's amazing what these drivers do at Talladega.
You're listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. We're on the line with Brian Crichton. He is the president of Talladega Super Speedway. I'm sure that you're extremely busy during the race, but how much of the race do you actually get to watch, Brian?
I don't get to watch a lot of it, to be honest with you. And, it's a blur that day. But what I really enjoy doing is interacting with the fans and walking around and seeing how the venue is and making sure everybody's having a great time. So after pre-race ceremonies, I spend some time inside Talladega Garage Experience, just walking around there and interacting with the fans that are there. I do go up to the suites, and I do a little grip and grinning in those suites with some of our corporate partners. But then I walk the grandstands, and I check it out, and if I see any problems anywhere, we'll call and see if we can't get some more concession stands open, or if there's a line in the bathrooms, what we can do for those things, and making notes all the time too, because that's what we owe to the fans. We owe to the fans to make this a better venue every single time. So when they come out and they spend their hard-earned dollars with Talladega and with NASCAR, they have a world-class experience.
Yeah, and some cool things about those grandstands. What some of the things you were talking about with the inside drive earlier today, that people can bring coolers and they can have beer inside the coolers as long as there's not glass bottles in there.
That's exactly right. We offer free parking on our venue as well. We have 2,700 acres, so we've got plenty of parking, and we have good free parking right up close. As you mentioned, coolers. You can bring a soft-sided 14 by 14 by 14-inch cooler. Every single person in your party can bring one in, and you can have anything that you want to drink, anything that you want to eat, just as long as there's no glass. And you can bring it in, and you can enjoy the day and just have your own cooler right there by your chair with your favorite beverage and favorite food.
Wow, that is great stuff. What is something that you learned when working for the Durham Bulls as Director of Public Relations that you use now as the president of Talladega Super Speedway?
That putting on a mascot costume is really hot. I was Wooly Bull. I was Wooly Bull up there every once in a while. No, I think going back to, my minor league days, just in the minor leagues too, it's about fun. It's about the experience. It's about the fans. And so, that's what we're about. There's things that we can control. And so those things that we can control, we want to make sure it's the best experience that's out there. We want people to walk away and just say, wow, I just had a blast at Talladega. NASCAR puts on the unbelievable racing on the racetrack, and then Talladega Superspeedway puts on this unbelievable experience in the stands, in the infield, and in our campgrounds.
One of the great things about minor league baseball is when you work in minor league baseball, you learn how to do everything in minor league baseball.
You are right. I mean, from pulling tarp on and off the field to, anything and everything. I was, like I said, I was the mascot sometimes I had to. Those are more appearances off property, not during games. But I was up in the PA booth that we were always greeting people, passing out the, all the different items that people were getting as they come in, those bobblehead giveaways. So you learn it from, just the ticket sales to the public relations to the promotion to the production, everything. When you're with a minor league baseball team, you learn it all.
And you guys also just updated the logo for Talladega Superspeedway on February 7th. What was that process like? How many logos did you have to choose from? And was the choice met with any backlash from the diehard fans?
Yeah, so it was a really cool process that we went through. So we worked with NASCAR as well as an outside agency. And what they did, the very first steps were they asked us for a list of people that they should interview to get their feelings on what Talladega Superspeedway means to them. So we did, of course, people that we work with internally. But Mr. Helton, Mike Helton, who was once the president of Talladega Superspeedway, he was on that list. Dale Earnhardt Jr. was on the list. Marty Smith from ESPN was on the list. Clint Boyer. I can go all the way down this whole long list. There's probably about 15 different people that gave input into it. And the one thing we kept hearing, over and over and over again is how special Talladega was and just that brand of Talladega and, what it means to everybody. So I feel that we landed at a really, really good spot. It kind of, you look at it, it takes pieces of all of our different logos and incorporates it into, that logo. So if you go back and look at the first Alabama International Motor Speedway, you'll see the outline of the racetrack. And so that was that kind of component. The last logo that we had has the swooshes through the A's, and so we incorporated that. And then through some of our secondary logos, too, whether it's the state outline of Alabama, and then it has the star where Talladega is. That star is picked out of one of the logos where it's in the A's. The centerpiece of the A's had those stars in it. So there's a lot of hidden Mickeys, so to speak, in the logo. And I'm really, really happy and pleased with where it landed. Of course, whenever you change something, you're always going to get people that are, passionate about, what it is or what it was. So we heard it. We heard it a little bit, but we think, too, that once people see it, and especially on the venue and on the property, it's really going to sink into what it is. It really pops. We've been changing out a bunch of logos and different things around the facility, and every day when I drive in, I just get a smile on my face because I think it really encapsulates Talladega Superspeedway because it's big, it's bold, and it's bad. I'm not sure if I can say that on radio.
We get the picture. We get the picture. I love the logo, and then even getting more insight from you about the different little kind of Easter eggs that incorporate all of the previous logos. My favorite one is the Alabama State outline there with the word Dega there in the middle of it. I think it's absolutely beautiful. And then Saturday night, you guys are going to be having a concert featuring Walker Hayes. Tell the listeners a little bit about that.
Yeah, Walker Hayes. So we've been doing a Saturday night concert since at least 2010, if not even before, a couple years before that. But Walker Hayes is coming out for this Saturday night traditional infield concert. So it's free for anybody who has an infield ticket or anybody who has a Sunday ticket. So after track activity concludes on Saturday, all you got to do is show your Sunday ticket, and you can actually walk across the racetrack and into the infield and down to the stage area where Walker Hayes will perform. So, another free thing that we send out there, just to continue to, build that overall event experience. one of the things that we always say is this is more than a race. This is Talladega because of all those activities that are going on. And then our fans are the best in the world. They put on, different shows too with their setups that they have on Talladega Boulevard and East Teboga Boulevard, and they welcome people in. And I like to call it an unofficial family reunion because everybody just becomes one big family at Talladega.
Brian, thank you so much for your time. We really do appreciate it. I know our listeners are looking forward to winning this race to Talladega, but even if they don't win, they've got a great opportunity to go up there for a very fair and affordable price to go check out Talladega. I know I will be doing that soon. Brian, thank you so much for your time.
Well, thank you guys for having me on. And yes, 3 weeks from today, our campgrounds load in, so don't be left out in 3 weeks. Make sure you make that decision to come on up to Talladega. Good luck to everybody to win those couple of tickets, but if you don't win them, go to TalladegaSuperspeedway.com for more information on how to buy tickets to come on up and see us and have a great weekend.
All right, Brian, you take care now.
Thanks, guys. You too.
All right, that is Brian Crichton. He is the president of Talladega Super Speedway. They got the whole week leading up to the Geico 500, which is going to be April 21st at 2 p.m. 26 days, 20 hours, 18 minutes, and 40 seconds. You guys are riding along with the Afternoon Underdogs, tuned into ESPN Northwest Florida. We're going to be talking a little bit more about Wyatt Langford, a little buy-sell hold there as Eric Church and Talladega plays in the background. We'll be right back, y'all.
The real world started in. The deal was we would get to go if we cleaned it up.
It's the PCB Hobby Takeover with Todd. Mondays at 5:20 on ESPN Northwest Florida.
That is a very high-end card and very rare.
Todd talks about coins, trading cards, collectibles, and the amazing stories behind them.
It was the first one that's ever come through my door.
Plus, we'll be taking your calls and questions at 850-215-6290. The PCB Hobby Takeover.
A platform for you to do your hobby.
Mondays at 5:20 on the Sports Talk Monster. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good evening. This is Joanna with your weather forecast from ESPN Northwest Florida on this Monday. Partly cloudy tonight with a wind around 18 miles per hour coming out of the southeast and a low of 67. Tomorrow morning, look for a mixture of light sprinkles and clouds with a temperature near 70. In the afternoon and evening, a high around 71 and a likelihood of thunderstorms and light rain. This weather forecast is sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. Thank you for listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
With over 65 years of combined experience, Instant Replay Sports Cards is happy to help you take your collection to the next level. They carry all the new hobby boxes, signed memorabilia, and supplies. New and vintage cards in Pokemon. They sell and trade cards and are always looking to buy. They're an authorized source for Topps, Panini, Upper Deck, and Leaf cards. Instant Replay Sports Cards is open 7 days a week at 752 West 23rd Street, down from Academy Sports. It can always be reached at InstantReplaySportsCards.com.
Attention homeowners, are you dreaming of a backyard oasis? Look no further than S&R Fencing, your go-to destination for quality outdoor transformations. At S&R, they specialize in crafting custom fences, decks, retainer walls, and all exterior construction that not only enhances the beauty of your home, but also stands the test of time. Their experienced team takes pride in delivering top-notch craftsmanship with a personal touch. S&R Fencing, locally owned, licensed, and insured, and a member of the BBB.
The Cup Series sees its first repeat winner of the season. I'm Kyle Rickey. That story next on NASCAR Hot Pass.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. With eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Keep up with all of the action during the 2024 NASCAR season with NASCAR Today.
William Byron has won the Daytona 500.
Every weekday throughout the season, we'll bring you the latest news and insights.
At that point, I really had in my mind, okay, we can really win this.
As we count down the days to championship weekend in Phoenix.
It's surreal still. I can't believe I'm in this position.
I'm Chase Elliott. Listen to NASCAR Today every weekday right here on the Motor Racing Network.
The NASCAR Cup Series saw its first repeat winner of the year as Hendrick Motorsports driver William Byron won the Echo Park Automotive Grand Prix at the Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas yesterday. Byron led a race-high 42 of the race's 68 laps en route to the victory, his 12th career win, and his first since the season opening Daytona 500 in February. Behind Byron at the finish were Christopher Bell in second, Ty Gibbs in third, Alex Bowman fourth, and Tyler Reddick completed the top five. The race had just 2 caution flags, both for stage breaks, although there were several spins during the event, including Kyle Larson, who finished 18. I'm Kyle Rickey. This is NASCAR Hot Pass on the Motor Racing Network.
Hometown sports talk from hometown hosts.
People are loving it.
We're live and local. Now back to the Afternoon Underdogs.
Are you kidding me?
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
I do not have a live update of the Bay Pensacola score. It is missing the score, but if any of you out there know, text it into 850-215-6290, and we will report that live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. Liberty County took down Crossroad Academy 19-0. Rutherford and Malone are in progress right now. Arnold and Jay are in progress right now as well. So we want to do a little buy-sell hold, but first got to tell you guys, ESPN Northwest Florida presenting that race to Talladega that started today. We've had Brian Crichton, the president of Talladega Super Speedway, on the line with us twice today. Great stuff happening over there. Very affordable tickets. I mean, $65 to get into the race in the grandstands. Be able to bring your own cooler with you and bring whatever you want outside of glass inside of that cooler. I don't think that it gets any better than that. So how you could win a pair of tickets to the Talladega for the Geico 500. You listen to the Coach James Hale Show mornings at 7:15 and 8:15. You have an opportunity to talk to Brian. What day are you on with Coach Hale? Wednesdays?
I'm on Wednesdays, and I think I'm covering for him this Friday. So.
Oh, all right then. So you can talk with Coach Brian here this Friday all day long, and then on Wednesday as well. 7:15 and 8:15, they're going to give you a code word. You take that code word, you text it into 850-215-6290, along with either your name or your racing name. Then you listen at 12:15 and 5:15 for your name to be called. If we announce your name, race to the phone. How long it takes you to call 850-215-6290 is your qualifying time. The fastest qualifying times win a pair of tickets to Talladega for the Geico 500. Right now, we're sitting at 16 seconds with Richard, who is our he's our pole sitter for this point and time. And also, get on that app. Get on the ESPN Northwest Florida app. Open it up and click Enter Contest, and you could be headed to Orlando. We're going to be taking a busload of ESPN Northwest Florida listeners to see the Orlando Magic play the Chicago Bulls Sunday, April 7th. You'll watch the game from a presidential suite, and that comes with food, drinks, and a free ride on the Magic Express.
I am not employed by the station. I'm just saying.
There you go. So you are eligible to win this. I might even find a way to hop on that bus myself. That seems like a fun time, especially to watch a basketball game from a presidential suite. Come on now, feeling presidential. We just had the president of Talladega Super Speedway on the line with us. Since we
just real quick, that was so much fun because literally this would have been like 1987,
right?
Because I remember we were at the state baseball finals, and it was when I spent a year in Sylacauga, Alabama, 1 week.
Yeah,
that was. God bless Sylacauga, but there wasn't a lot going on. But one of the things that we did as a team was, we did two. We went to DeSoto Caverns, and then we went to Talladega, and it was exactly like he said. You come up on the banking, and it's 33 degrees. It looked like a straight wall. It was amazing.
Being at Daytona, I haven't been to Talladega yet.
Very similar.
I absolutely got to get there. But being at Daytona, walking up on the track, it was, you saw people struggling to get up and down the embankment there. And, and talk about a sport that really does something for their fans. NASCAR does it, man.
Yeah.
Like you could care less about NASCAR if you wanted to and go to a race, and you're going to end up just like how you would if you went to your first hockey game. You're going to fall in love with it, but you're going to fall in love with the atmosphere.
Well, and it's so cool because there's so many different ways to experience it. You can experience the race from the grandstand where you can see so much of the track. You could be in the tower where you could literally see everything. You could be in the infield where you could see your corner, but at ground level.
Yeah.
You can be in the garage area where you can truly see what's going on behind the scenes. There's so many, and that's with almost all auto racing, but certainly at a super speedway, there's so many different ways to see it. It's really cool.
It absolutely was a great time at Daytona. I'm sure Talladega is right up there with that. So make sure that you're listening 7:15 and 8:15 in the morning for the race to Talladega. And we are going to get back to our March Madness coverage. That is going to be starting Thursday and Friday night coverage starting at 6 p.m. And also, hey, if you're looking for somewhere to go to church this Sunday, it is Easter. Come with me to First Baptist, man. Let's pack out a whole section. That would be absolutely awesome. First Baptist downtown Easter Sunday. They've got services at 8:30 and 10:30 a.m. Hopefully I don't get in trouble for that free plug right there. But, Brian, since, we have Todd Mueller on with us. Normally he's here at 5:20. The only time that I could get the president on with us was at 5:20, so we moved him up to 5 as Murphy's Law would have it. Some things happen, so let's continue to talk a little bit about PCB Hobby. Let's update some things and let's play a little buy seller hold
right now. We got stuff going on back at the shop.
Yeah.
All right, who do we got?
Opening day. Well, before we get into buy seller hold, tell us about opening day.
This Thursday, opening day baseball, although they did whatever they did over in Korea, but it's true opening day baseball. We're going to have 10% off sealed wax in the shop. Going to have the games going. Like Todd said, if enough of you guys come out, he'll order food for people. So it's definitely going to be a great time. There's new products out this week. We've already had the drop of Top Series 1, which has been phenomenal. Ellie De La Cruz, Evan Carter, Jason Dominguez, so many of the big rookie chases. And then we've got 2 new products hitting perfectly in time on Wednesday. Topps Big League, which it's what you would call more of an entry-level product, but it's so much fun. It's great for kids. It's great for new collectors. It's great for old collectors who've been getting things a lot. I mean, they do fun cards, a lot of art, a lot of neat things. It's a lot of fun. And Big League has just a great reputation. And then for the high end, Topps Tribute. And these are cards that are very expensive. And they're beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And so those products are out. Last week, we had Topps Dynasty, which is $1,000 for one card. Beautiful stuff. Better be at that price.
I don't even know if Tony could get that.
Topps Big League, we're talking probably $60, $70 for a full-on hobby box. You just don't find those for that.
Wow.
So there's going to be a lot of different products. You want to come in, you want to rip, you want to watch baseball, you want to cheer on the Braves, and you want to have a great time at PCB Hobby. You can do that this Thursday.
Yeah, and Justin says the Yankees suck. Make sure Brian knows that.
Yes, they do. And I'm a fan.
Hey, Johnny.
They're going to score 1 million runs, and they're going to go 500 and finish last in the East.
Johnny Yankee Seat says, down bad these days, a weak ownership and a garbage GM.
Yeah.
Yeah. Spot on. Hey, at least Yankees fans in agreement there.
I mean, look,
it makes it sad for me as a fan who likes to hate the Yankees. Like, well, I guess
I'm about to lose my mind again.
Here we go.
Cashman's killing me. How can you go through this entire offseason as the New York Yankees and not get a pitcher?
I mean, Blake Snell, Jordan Montgomery's still out there. Do you think there's an opportunity? I mean, that's something they should be doing.
Here's the other thing.
What about Bauer?
I would rather be yelling at Cashman for overpaying for Snell or whoever. But and look, I don't like the way the market got set with, what was it, Nola first and then Wheeler for sure.
Yeah.
I don't like that, and I don't think it's good business. And it probably is, but it's the New York Yankees.
Yeah.
They have a history of overpaying, but you needed a pitcher before Cole got hurt, and you certainly need one now.
Yeah.
So get something done. They're going to score a lot of runs, but they're going to give up a lot.
Yeah.
Little known fact, the Yankees print their own money. They don't ever have to worry about making $1. They got a machine in Yankee Stadium that just throws money out to them. They got money to spend.
Yeah. They definitely have money. I don't get it. I don't see how you can't. I would rather be saying you got a bad pitcher. then you got no pitcher. Because at least it showed you understood the need. They're killing me.
Johnny Yankee Seed also saying apparently he heard that they could have had Burns for what y'all shipped to Boston for Verdugo.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, to have
I would have been all
an
over
ace like
Burns.
Corbin Burns. I mean, I don't even know if
and a division rival takes him instead.
Yeah.
That's brutal.
Dude, he just said this.
Yes.
He said the same exact thing. That's brutal. He went to Baltimore instead. Hey, y'all are on the same exact page. Just a pity of
But hey, we're gonna get to watch. We're gonna get to watch Stanton strike out 400 times this year. So.
Oh man, well that's good for baseball.
Get away
right?
from the Yankees. Come on, give me something else. I'm dying.
All right,
here.
we're going to get away from the Yankees. How about while we have 2 minutes left here, buy, sell, or hold Wyatt Langford, the kid for the Rangers.
All right. This is a tough one in general, but I'm going to hold to my general truism, which is anytime a prospect gets called up, you sell.
Oh, wow.
Because that's when their market is hottest. Mm-hmm. Now, Langford's came around quick because he really only has one product now, which is Bowman Draft.
Yeah.
Full disclosure, I have a lot of good Langfords. I'm moving them. And here's why. I don't care. Look, he would have to be on an epic start to the season for him not to drop back off, because all prospects spike when they get called up.
Yep.
And then they drop off a little bit. The reason I would sell Langford's not because I don't think he's a great player. I actually do. I'm going to sell him now when everybody wants it.
Buy him back later.
Buy him back later. That's what I'm going to do with Wyatt Langford, because I do think he's going to have a great career and he's on a great team, but he doesn't need to be the star of that team right out of the gate. So I'm selling Langford today. In fact, you've almost missed the opportunity because 2 days ago would have been the time to do it. I'm selling Langford today. I'm buying him back in about 6 weeks.
Sell now, buy later. How about Derrick Henry? Looking at his 2016 Optic Hollow rated rookie, that's up 222.6% in the trending cards of the last 7 days. Buy or sell Derrick Henry right now?
I wouldn't be buying if it's up 222%.
Right.
You've missed the opportunity. I'm probably holding on Henry because I do think there's a lot of optimism in what he's doing. With the Ravens, and I'm curious to see it. If I had to lean one way or the other, I'd lean to sell.
Yeah.
Because you want to sell when somebody's market's spiking like that. But I certainly would not be buying him right now.
Well, that is going to do it for us this afternoon. Brian, Coach Brian, as always, it's, there you go.
I haven't coached in years, but that's fine. Go ahead.
As always, it's a pleasure to have you with us here on Monday.
Hey, I made it the whole show today.
Yeah, to all of our guests that joined us today, we thank you guys for all of the listeners commenting on Facebook, texting along with us. We definitely appreciate it. We're going to be back tomorrow at 4 p.m. You've got the Coach James Hale Show live at 7 in the morning, then the Inside Drive live at 11. And again, we're back tomorrow at 4. We're out of here for today. Y'all have a great evening. Just remember, Jesus loves you, so do I.
Fire Cashman.
About your thoughts, I just want to say.
ESPN Northwest Florida is taking you on the ultimate road trip to see the Orlando Magic. It's the Holland Hearts ESPN Northwest Florida Magic Express.